So should you check it or wreck it? Hey, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian and this is Opinion. Ralph Breaks the Internet, better known as Wreck-It Ralph 2, has hit theaters, and I liked the first one so much that I wanted to go and check this one out as well. I'm a big fan of animation, and you're probably going to be seeing more reviews on cartoons and animated series here on my channel. And speaking of my channel, I want to take a moment to invite you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. You can do that right down there on the icon or down below. And a huge welcome to my recent new subscribers. You're here! That's awesome! For starters, I want to share with you some of my overall impressions and opinions of the movie as a whole, and then I gotta tell you, we're gonna get into spoiler territory. I'll be sure to let you know when that's coming up. This second installment of the Wreck-It franchise finds our heroes Ralph and Vanellope von Schweetz back in their video game world, and we spend a little bit of time there getting reacquainted with all of that. Litwack's Arcade finds themselves in a bit of a pinch when an overzealous arcade patron accidentally breaks the steering wheel off the Sugar Rush video game. After hearing that Mr. Litwack doesn't want to shell out the 200 clams for a replacement steering wheel off of eBay, Ralph and Vanellope take it upon themselves to enter the newly installed Wi-Fi at the arcade and jump into the world of the internet, so that they themselves can try their luck at winning the auction on eBay. And the ensuing adventure brings our heroes on an animated, color-saturated romp through the interwebs. And when you combine the internet and a film, you can only guess what that means. Lots and lots of product placement. And speaking of that, I hope you like eBay because it's featured in about a good 1/3 of this film. No joke. All the internet biggies have cameos throughout this film. Amazon, Google, Twitter, Snapchat, they're all there. The animation is top-notch. I'm sure any of you can tell that computer animated films are at the top of their game right now. Colors, textures, vibrancy, the range of expressions that characters have. I mean, it really is pretty astounding. It is gorgeous. The story itself is a bit more complex than its predecessor, and I think therein lies a little bit of a problem. Because my impression was that the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it going to be just a laugh-out-loud comedy? Was it going to be a tearjerker? Was it going to just be a sarcasm fest? There were a couple of plot points that I'll get to in the spoiler section that I thought were going to be flushed out a little more, and they just kind of stopped right where they were at and we got back to the main story. The internet that this movie presents seems to center around people's need to be part of a group, like be part of a tribe. So it's just all these groups and tribes of cheerleaders and fans running around the internet, liking stuff and just showing their support. And one of the best parts is that people themselves are represented as these stick-figured, box-headed little avatars that are just scurrying around, liking stuff, jumping from website to website. Something catches their eye and a little vessel comes and just whisks them off to the next thing. I thought that that was very, very clever. Okay, so we're going into spoiler territory now, and going forward from here, I'm going to put my comments in one of two categories. What in the film was viral for me? And one of the film perhaps could use some fixing up in my opinion. So one of the top viral things for me in this film was the new character, Yes, portrayed by Taraji P. Henson. This character is fantastic, and the role that she plays is kind of the purveyor of likes and dislikes. She basically is a YouTube algorithm who decides what should be a big hit and what should not. She's got a little side stash of like hearts that she can just get them out and divvy them up to whoever wants them. And she's kind of like, you want some hearts? You want some hearts? I thought that was hilarious. She has more costume changes than Queen Amidala, and every outfit is more outrageous than the next. The first time we meet her, she's got this fiber optic fur coat that lights up whenever she gets excited about something that might go viral. The main site featured in the film, called BuzzTube, is where Yes works and kind of runs the whole show there. I thought that was very clever, and I like that it pokes a little bit of fun at the fervor and the mania surrounding BuzzFeed and YouTube. Alan Tudyk shines as always as the character Knows More in this film, who is the little character who pre-predicts what you're going to say to try to help you find what you're looking for on the internet. Tudyk just brings a lot of charm and empathy to his characters, and one of my favorite moments is when Knows More finally gets thanked, and just his reaction to that is pretty priceless. It doesn't matter what Alan Tudyk does. I mean, I loved him as Hey Hey, and I mean, that was just a chicken squawking out in the yard. John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman are just on top of it. They pull us right back into these characters. It's like we never left them. I've always been a big fan of John C. Reilly. I've seen him on Broadway. I've seen a lot of his films. And I actually applaud him because I think he found a little more nuance in Ralph's character in this film. Obviously, it's the magic of the animation and the actor combining, but you can really see and feel what's going on inside Ralph as he's grappling with friendship and loyalty and this new world of the internet. And it's really compelling. Gal Gadot makes an appearance as slaughterhouse racer Shank, and I think that she brings a nice, subtle amount of sex appeal and intrigue to her character. One of my other favorite things in the film is when Ralph and Vanellope first get to the internet, and they're just trying to find eBay. They're like, we just want to find eBay. And pop-up ads in the internet world are represented by these people that are all a solid color, kind of coming up in your face going, hey, you want to lose belly fat? Hey, you want to play this video game and get rich quick? It's pretty funny, and the innocence of the characters, they get drawn into that, and I thought that was a nice little touch. So now let's get to what, in my opinion, needed maybe a little bit of tweaking or just a flat-out overhaul. As you saw in the trailer, so you knew to expect it in the film, that we were going to spend some time at the Oh My Disney site, and oh my Disney, did we. I thought that we spent a little too much time there. It was a little bit gratuitous, and I totally get it. Why would Disney not promote themselves in their own film? Of course. But we needed to get on with the story at some point. I could have done without Vanellope's princess song altogether. She has this really awkward song in the middle of the slaughterhouse race, and the irony of it is that she's singing this lovely song in the middle of this industrial, busted up, perpetually sepia tone world, and it's to cement her longing to be there instead of in the Sugar Rush game. But for me, the whole movie just kind of stopped right there. There were a couple times when the movie just stopped and I was like, oh wow, we're doing this right now. I wasn't too sold on the plot point of an internet virus being able to feed off a person's actual emotions and insecurities and then duplicate and spread that all over the internet to screw the internet up. That's kind of not how it works. I wasn't quite sure of the relevance of why they had the sequence in the end with what they're calling the baby Moana in the car seat being driven down the street, playing the pancake milkshake game, and that was, I don't know how I feel about that. So to make money to buy the new steering wheel off of eBay, Ralph makes viral videos, and he's finding that they're becoming lucrative. And at one point in the film, he stumbles into the comment section. And what he notices is that everything's not all, wonderful. People are starting to say, oh, you suck. I hate Ralph. Ralph is so dumb. So it's a commentary on, how ugly the comment sections can get on YouTube and social media, Twitter, all that sort of thing. Yes just kind of comes in and goes, yeah, don't read the comments. Stay out of the comment section because that's kind of bad. I wanted to hear more about that, and I really thought the movie missed an opportunity there to go just a tiny bit further into the dark side of seeking validation and attention. The ending battle scene was very strange to me, where Ralph fights a version of himself that is all made up of mini Ralphs. It's like this giant Ghostbuster, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man crossed with King Kong, but it's all made out of Ralphs. And that is the embodiment of the infection that is kind of screwing everything up in the internet. So he has to face that and defeat it to make everything right again. Okay, the last thing in this section that I want to talk about, and I'm definitely in the minority on this one because I've talked to a lot of people about this and I've heard a lot about it online, is the princesses. Everybody's gaga over the princesses, and I'm not a big fan of the Shrekking of the princesses. It's like some of the values and ideals of the older fairy tales are just a little too hokey and a little too wholesome for today's world. So I guess the remedy to that is to make the characters like super sassy and super self-aware and have them make everything into quips. That could be a lot of fun. But it could also just be, everything that's been done before and better by Shrek. Even the look of the princesses have changed. They're all kind of turning into this homogenized template of these saucer-eyed Bratz dolls. I do understand that the end game here is to rebrand the princesses again and probably groom the public to get ready to receive a complete princess movie. I obviously like sarcasm, and I do like that the princesses are able to poke fun at themselves a little bit. but at some point it starts to go against like the essence of their characters. For example, Vanellope, barges into their dressing room and all of the princesses go into attack mode immediately on this little obviously kid. I mean, Pocahontas is there with the stick that her father was going to bash John Smith's head in with. Merida is pointing an arrow at her. You've seen in the trailer that Cinderella breaks a glass, is going to stab her with the jagged end of her glass slipper. I get what they're doing with the princesses, especially to keep up with today's youth movie audience. I mean, they're very smart. They process things very quickly. And our culture runs on sarcasm. It just does. I will freely admit that. But when you start making a character's social currency nothing but sarcasm and quips, bit of a slippery slope. And as much as I love Star Wars, I really didn't need C-3PO to come into the dressing room to announce that there was a new Which Princess Are You quiz about to start. That was just a Star Wars commercial, and I hate to see him used like that. I have a feeling that Disney is just chomping at the bit to get Princess Leia herself as a regular member of this princess entourage. And when that happens, I'm going to cry. Overall, for me, this movie was not as good as the first one, but I was really excited about the new characters that they introduced in this, which I hope we see more of. We saw great work from existing characters. The plot kind of dawdles off into some gratuitous areas like advertising and stuff that doesn't have too much to do with the main thrust of the story. But we eventually get back on track, and at the end, I think it has nice things to say about friendship and loyalty and growing up. Something a little more complex. What do friends do when they want two totally different things and their paths are not so close together anymore? I think it's a good lesson for kids. So now it's your turn. Did you see the film? And if so, what did you think about it? I want to hear your opinions down below. The good, the bad, the meh, the ugly, all of it. Lay it on me. I'm so glad you could join me for this review. There are more coming up in addition to my regular features. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.